Have you ever felt like you're walking on eggshells around your own children, like the respect you once had? The easy conversations, the sense of being valued for your wisdom and experience, has somehow slipped away. Maybe they interrupt you, dismiss your opinions, or treat your home more like a hotel or a free babysitting service than a place to visit and honor the parent who raised them. It can be incredibly painful, can't it? This wasn't the relationship you dreamed of having with your grown-up children. You poured your heart and soul into raising them, and now you feel overlooked, or worse, disrespected. You might wonder where you went wrong, or why they don't seem to appreciate you anymore. It's a common struggle, one that many parents face as their children become adults with their own lives, families, and perspectives. But it doesn't have to stay this way. You have more power to shift this dynamic than you might think. It's not about demanding respect, but about subtly changing how you interact and present yourself in their lives. In this video, we're going to explore 5 powerful moves you can make, starting today, that can help rebuild that bridge and foster a relationship where mutual respect can flourish again. These aren't quick fixes, but they are profound shifts in how you approach your role as a parent of adults. Stick around until the very end, because I have a little something that might surprise you about this whole journey. Let's dive right into the first powerful move, one that often feels counterintuitive, especially after decades of being the primary guide and decision-maker in their lives. It's learning to let go of the need to control or constantly advise your adult children. For so many years, your role was to protect, to guide, to teach, to make decisions, sometimes tough ones. For their well-being, you were the expert, the one with the answers. And that habit, that instinct to jump in with advice or try to steer their decisions, is deeply ingrained. But here's the truth. Your children are now adults. They have their own brains, their own experiences, their own paths to forge, and yes, their own mistakes to make. When you continue to offer unsolicited advice, no matter how well-intentioned, it can often be heard as criticism, as a lack of faith in their ability to figure things out, or as an attempt to control their lives. Think about how you feel when someone constantly tells you what you should do. Even if they're right, it can feel patronizing, can't it? It's the same for your children. So, the first powerful move is to consciously bite your tongue. Unless they explicitly ask for your advice, try your absolute best not to give it. This is harder than it sounds. I know. You'll see them making a decision you think is wrong, or heading down a path you fear will lead to pain, and your instinct will scream, tell them, warn them. But pause, take a deep breath. Remember, they are adults. Their journey, their lessons, are their own. What they need from you now is less of a manager and more of a supportive presence. How does this gain respect? By showing them that you trust them. You trust their judgment, their resilience, their ability to learn from their own experiences. When you hold back the advice, you open up space for a different kind of interaction. Instead of lectures, you can have conversations. Instead of telling them what to do, you can ask open-ended questions, like, how are you feeling about this? Or, what are your thoughts on your options? You become a sounding board, a listener, rather than a director. Letting go of control also applies to things like their parenting style, their career choices, their relationships. You might strongly disagree with how they're doing something, especially if it involves your grandchildren. It takes immense self-control to not step in and say, well, when you were a child, or you should really be doing it this way. But remember the goal: fostering respect. Constant criticism or correction, even if you believe it's constructive, erodes the relationship and makes them less likely to want to share their lives with you. It creates a barrier. They might start avoiding telling you things to avoid the lecture. They might nod and say, okay, but internally dismiss everything you say, including the times you do have valuable input. Practice active listening instead. When they do talk to you about something, listen with the genuine intent to understand, not just to formulate your response or your advice. Ask clarifying questions. Show empathy. That sounds really challenging. It must be tough dealing with that. Sometimes, all they need is to feel heard and validated, not fixed, by shifting from fixer to listener. You demonstrate a profound respect for their autonomy and their capacity. And here's the beautiful part: when you stop pushing advice on them, they might actually start seeking it out. When they know they can come to you without fear of judgment or a takeover, they are more likely to value your perspective when they do ask for it. This is the first powerful move, stepping back from the director's chair and into the role of a trusted, non-judgmental confidant. It requires patience and practice, but it lays the groundwork for a relationship built on mutual respect rather than lingering dependency or resentment. Now, moving on to the second powerful move, which goes hand in hand with the first: setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. This is often where many parents struggle, feeling guilty or selfish about establishing limits with their own children. After all, you raised them, you sacrificed for them. Doesn't that mean you should always be available? Always give whatever they need? Always put their needs first, no matter what? Well, no, not anymore. Healthy relationships, including parent-adult-child relationships, require boundaries. Boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out. They're about defining where one person ends and another begins, clarifying expectations, and protecting your own well-being and resources. When boundaries are unclear or non-existent, it can lead to resentment, exploitation, and a lack of respect for your time, energy, finances, and personal space. Perhaps your children drop by unannounced at inconvenient times, expecting you to entertain them or drop everything. Maybe they constantly ask for financial help, even when you're on a fixed income. Maybe they make critical comments about your life choices, your home, or your appearance. Or perhaps they expect you to be on call for childcare at a moment's notice, disrupting your plans. These are all areas where healthy boundaries are needed. Setting a boundary isn't about being mean. It's about being clear and kind. It's about communicating what works for you and what doesn't. In a calm and respectful way, let's take the unannounced visits. Instead of just accepting it and feeling flustered, you could say, gently but firmly, "It's lovely to see you, but unplanned visits don't always work well for me. Could you please call or text before you come over next time so we can make sure it's a good time?" You're not saying don't visit. You're setting an expectation that respects your schedule. For financial requests, instead of automatically saying yes and potentially depleting your savings or going without, you might need to say, "I understand you're in a tight spot, but I'm not able to lend money right now." You don't have to justify or over-explain. "I'm not able to" is a complete sentence. If you are able and choose to help sometimes, make it clear if it's a gift or a loan and what the repayment expectations are. Being vague here leads to problems. For critical comments, you can respond calmly. "I hear you, but my home decor works for me." Or, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm happy with my choices." You don't have to engage in an argument. You can simply state your position and change the subject. Regarding childcare, it's okay to say no if it doesn't work for you. "I'd love to help, but I already have plans that day." Or, "I can do Tuesday afternoons, but not Friday evenings." Offering alternatives if you can. Like, "I can't watch them today, but I'm free on Saturday." Shows willingness within your limits. The key to setting boundaries is consistency. The first few times might be met with resistance, guilt trips, or even anger. This is where you need to stand firm, calmly repeating your boundary without getting drawn into lengthy justifications or arguments. Remember, their reaction is their reaction. Your job is to state your boundary and kindly uphold it. Respect comes, in part, from respecting yourself enough to have these limits. When you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, whether it's your time, energy, or money, you are subtly teaching others, including your children, that your resources and well-being are less important. By setting boundaries, you are modeling self-respect. You are showing your children that you are a person with your own needs, plans, and limits, not just an endless resource pool. This shift, from being walked over to standing firm in a kind way, signals a change in the dynamic and encourages them to interact with you as an equal, respecting your boundaries just as you aim to respect theirs. This second powerful move is foundational to regaining that sense of mutual respect. Now, let's move on to the third powerful move. And this one is all about you cultivating your own vibrant and fulfilling life outside of your role as a parent. This might sound strange. How does your life affect your children's respect for you? Well, when your identity and happiness are solely wrapped up in your children and their lives, it can inadvertently put an enormous burden on them. They can feel responsible for your happiness, pressured to spend all their free time with you, or suffocated by your neediness or constant involvement in their affairs. It can make interactions feel heavy rather than joyful. On the flip side, when you are engaged in your own interests, hobbies, friendships, and activities, you project an aura of independence, purpose, and vitality. You become a more interesting person to be around, someone with stories to share and experiences that enrich your perspective. Think about it. Which person is more likely to be respected and sought after for their company, the parent who has nothing going on and relies solely on their children for social interaction and validation, or the parent who is busy with friends, classes, volunteering, travel, or hobbies? The answer is clear. When you have your own life, your interactions with your children become less about filling a void in your own existence and more about genuine connection and shared moments. You're not waiting by the phone, hoping they'll call. You're busy living your life, and when they do call, it's a welcome addition to an already full life, not the sole highlight of your week. What does cultivating a vibrant life look like? It's different for everyone. It could be joining a book club, taking an art class, volunteering at a local charity, pursuing a long-lost hobby, joining a walking group, traveling, learning a new language, or dedicating time to your own physical fitness and health. It's anything that brings you joy, challenges you, and connects you with others who share similar interests. Not just other parents talking about their kids. This isn't about being so busy that you don't have time for your children. It's about having a life that is rich and meaningful, independently of them. When they see you thriving, when they see that your happiness doesn't depend on their every move, it changes the dynamic. They see you as an individual, not just mom or dad, with your own passions and autonomy. Moreover, having your own interests provides natural boundaries and reduces the likelihood of over-involvement in their lives. If you're busy with your bridge club on Tuesday night, you're not available to jump in and solve their minor crisis that evening. If you're planning a trip with friends, you have less mental space to worry excessively about their decisions. This independence is attractive and commands respect. It shows that you are a complete person, not half of a parent-child unit waiting to be completed by their attention. This powerful move also involves maintaining your own friendships and social connections. While family is important, relying solely on your children for your social life can be isolating for you and overwhelming for them. Nurturing relationships with peers provides emotional support, companionship, and a different perspective, taking some of the pressure off your children to be your sole source of social connection. It gives you other people to talk to about your day, your worries, and your joys, rather than burdening your children with everything. By actively investing in your own happiness and well-being through a rich, independent life, you are not only improving your own quality of life, but also subtly demonstrating to your children that you are a capable, interesting, and self-sufficient individual worthy of respect for who you are, not just what you've done for them. Moving on to the fourth powerful move, which focuses on how you communicate with your adult children, practicing calm, clear, and assertive communication. Many parent-adult-child interactions can fall into unhealthy communication patterns. Maybe you tend to be passive, holding back your true feelings or needs to avoid conflict, leading to resentment. Or perhaps you lean towards aggression, resorting to yelling, criticism, or guilt trips, which shuts down communication and makes children defensive. Neither extreme fosters respect. Assertive communication is the middle ground. It's about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs honestly and directly, while still respecting the other person's rights and feelings. It's standing up for yourself without being hostile or demanding. When you communicate assertively, you speak from a place of strength, not weakness or anger. You use I statements to express your feelings. I feel worried when I don't hear from you. Instead of, you never call, you state your needs clearly and calmly. I need to have quiet time in the evenings, so could we schedule calls earlier in the day? You are direct without being rude. I disagree with that point. Instead of, that's a ridiculous idea. This type of communication models respect. It shows your children how to express themselves healthily and signals that you expect to be spoken to in a similar manner. Consider a common scenario. Your child makes a comment that feels dismissive or hurtful. A passive response might be saying nothing and stewing in resentment. An aggressive response might be snapping back angrily or launching into a list of grievances. An assertive response could be, calmly, I feel hurt by that comment. Or, when you say X, it makes me feel Y. Could we talk about that? It opens the door for conversation rather than closing it with conflict or silence. Assertive communication also involves being clear about expectations regarding time, visits, holidays, and other potentially tricky areas. Instead of hoping they'll guess what you want or need, state it clearly and calmly. I'd love to see you for the holidays. Would you be able to visit on specific date? If they can't, you can discuss alternatives collaboratively, rather than feeling disappointed by unmet, unspoken expectations. Learning to say no assertively is also crucial. We touched on this with boundaries, but the way you say no matters. A clear, kind, I can't do that right now, is more respectful than a hesitant, guilt-ridden, well, I guess so, which breeds resentment, or a harsh, abrupt refusal. Assertiveness also means being open to hearing their perspective, even if it's difficult. Respectful communication is a two-way street. You express yourself clearly, and you listen respectfully to their response, even if you don't agree. This doesn't mean you have to accept disrespectful behavior, but it means you are willing to engage in dialogue. By consistently using calm, clear, assertive communication, you teach your children how you expect to be treated and how respectful adults interact. You avoid the drama and emotional manipulation that can erode relationships. You show that you are strong enough to state your needs and feelings without resorting to passive aggression or aggression. This powerful move requires practice and self-awareness. You might need to consciously slow down before responding, choose your words carefully, and manage your own emotions. But the result is communication that is more honest, more direct, and ultimately, more respectful. It transforms interactions from potential battlegrounds or tiptoeing exercises into genuine exchanges between two adults. Finally, let's talk about the fifth powerful move, which is perhaps the most fundamental. Underpinning all the others, modeling self-respect and grace. Your children learn how to treat you, in large part, by observing how you treat yourself and how you handle the ups and downs of life, including conflicts within the family. If you constantly put yourself last, allow others, including your children, to disrespect you without speaking up, or engage in self-deprecating talk, you are subtly teaching them that you are not worthy of respect. If you hold on to grudges, react with excessive anger, or play the victim. You are creating a toxic environment that makes genuine connection and respect difficult. Modeling self-respect means valuing your own time, needs, and well-being. It means setting those boundaries we talked about, not out of selfishness, but because you understand that your health and happiness are important. It means speaking kindly to yourself, pursuing your own interests, and not seeking validation solely from your children. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence and dignity, when you show that you respect yourself, you project an image of strength and self-worth that naturally commands respect from others. Grace comes into play in how you handle disagreements in difficult situations. It's about responding thoughtfully rather than reacting emotionally. It's about being willing to forgive, both yourself and your children, for past mistakes or hurts. It's about choosing connection over being right all the time. This doesn't mean you tolerate mistreatment, but it means you approach conflict with the goal of resolution and understanding, rather than punishment or blame. Forgiveness, in this context, is often more for yourself than the other person. It's releasing the burden of anger and resentment so you can move forward. When you model grace, you show your children how to navigate the complexities of relationships with maturity and resilience. You demonstrate that it's possible to disagree respectfully, to make mistakes and learn from them, and to repair ruptures in relationships. This is an incredibly powerful lesson, perhaps more valuable than any advice you could give them. It sets a standard for how family members treat each other, even when things are difficult. So, these are the 5 powerful moves letting go of control and unsolicited advice. Setting healthy boundaries, cultivating your own vibrant life, practicing calm and assertive communication, and modeling self-respect and grace. They aren't about changing your children. They are about changing you and your approach to the relationship. And here's that surprise I mentioned at the beginning. The most powerful thing you can do to gain respect from your children again isn't a tactic or a strategy aimed at them. It's a profound inward shift. It's recognizing your own inherent worth, independent of your children's validation or approval. It's focusing on living your own best life, upholding your own boundaries, and communicating with dignity. When you do that, when you truly respect yourself and live authentically, the dynamic shifts naturally. Your children will see you as a strong, independent, and wise individual. They may not change overnight, but over time, as you consistently apply these moves, you will likely see a change in how they interact with you. They will see that you are no longer trying to control them, that you have boundaries they must respect, that you have a fulfilling life, that you communicate clearly, and that you carry yourself with dignity. This subtle, powerful transformation in you is the most effective way to foster a relationship where mutual respect can thrive. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. There will be slip-ups, both yours and theirs. Be patient with yourself and with them. Celebrate the small victories. Focus on the positive changes, however gradual. The goal is not perfection, but progress towards a more loving and respectful connection. You have so much wisdom and love to offer, and you deserve to have relationships with your children that feel rewarding and respectful for everyone involved. Take these 5 powerful moves, adapt them to your own situation, and start implementing them one step at a time. Small changes, consistently applied, can lead to profound transformations. You are capable of shifting this dynamic and building stronger, more respectful relationships with your adult children. If any of this resonated with you, or if you have your own experiences or tips to share, please leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your insights can help others in our community. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe for more content designed to help you live your best life at every age. Thank you for watching. And remember, you are valuable. You are capable. And it is absolutely possible to foster respectful, loving relationships with your children now and in the years to come. Live your best life at every age.